them. Over the horizon line, good for those who stand at the horizon line. With their eyes close to their lines, longing for someone who's going to shoot his eyes over the horizon line.
I am an unpaid unknown. I am an intern with the European Union External Action Service.
I've been a trainee for 8 months with an MEP at the European Parliament, and I was unpaid. I'm a trainee at the council and I'm unpaid.
I'm an unpaid trainee for an MEP of the European Parliament.
My name is Nikolai. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Bulgaria, a law graduate. Currently, I'm doing the Blue Book traineeship.
My name is Yanis, I'm 22 years old. I'm currently doing a master's in economics at the University of Freiburg in Germany.
My name is Eke Fabriket. I am currently a Blue Book trainee in the European Commission.
I'm doing a traineeship at the DG competition. I wanted to get an idea of how the EU institutions were working practically. So I didn't really have any concrete idea of how this whole EU machine was functioning. I believe in the European project. I believe that what we're doing in the EU institutions is a great thing, and I wanted to contribute to that and see if this was potentially something I would do for the rest of my life.
So basically, throughout these 4 years, I managed to do 12, as far as I recall, unpaid internships. What can I say? And at some point, I totally lost trust in humanity, to be honest. Especially when I took a look back and realized how much effort I put in that.
I applied for the unpaid internship because I didn't have any more choices. There was no available jobs, and all the other internships were asking for outrageous requirements, 2 years employment experience. So I didn't have a choice, and that was the only opportunity that was there.
My traineeship in particular lasts for 5 months. So I started in March and I'm finishing in July. And I'm not getting compensated for it in any way. So I'm not getting paid, I'm not getting university credits for it, I'm not getting discounts on my lunches, I'm not getting any rent subsidies. So I'm getting nothing for 5 months. And the fact is that many students and many young people who are in my situation, academically but not socially, could not afford to do such a traineeship for such a long amount of time. And in that sense, I'm not okay with the fact that I'm not paid for 5 months, because we need to, as EU institutions, provide the same access to such internships to everyone, so that everyone has the same opportunities, everyone has the same chances to basically do what I'm doing right now.
When I did my first unpaid traineeship in the UK Permanent Prestation, I was so happy. I felt like I was, oh my god, like I am one of the billion. They love me. I am so lucky to get this this internship, this great opportunity. I was like, yes, it's unpaid, but it's okay because I've got the subsidiary, like the subsidies from France and from Erasmus Plus, so I can handle it. That's fine. I can take this opportunity, and it will open loads of doors. So I was like, then I had to do another unpaid internship. That time I was not really happy about it because I felt like, well, okay, I've sacrificed myself for 7 years. I studied for 7 years. My parents, my mom sacrificed herself for 7 years. So I just haven't only like studied in France. I've studied in the UK, I've studied in the US, I've studied in Greece, so I've traveled. So then to make sure that I have the perfect CV which reflect perfectly the type of environment I want to work in, and show that, I have a global and international vision and understanding. And now I'm in the position that I have to go backward and accept not to be paid, to be treated like I am some new person that doesn't know anything, to be basically used for free. This is like a new type of slavery, to be honest. So
whenever I think that something is unfair or not just, then I really can indignate with something.
One of the main reasons was actually that also I'm coming from Western Balkans, which are countries that do belong to Europe but don't belong to European Union, and that makes a big difference. Because we have a low life standard, we have low incomes, everything that can be low, it's low there. So if I wouldn't get like a Schumann fellowship, there would be no possibility for me to come in Brussels. And then I met Shayoni, and I told her my story, and she was quite engaged also and happy to contribute.
Definitely. Yeah, that's how I got involved in this, because I'm not an intern at the European Parliament, but I am an unpaid intern at. There's one thing that the EU institutions in Brussels have unpaid interns, but Brussels is like a hotbed for every civil society organization, the biggest NGOs, the richest NGOs in the world, and all of them have unpaid interns like me. But then the problem becomes bigger at the policy level, where you're talking about development, where you're talking about Africa, you're talking about India, you're talking about the global south, and you have no representation from these people because we cannot afford to access these job markets. And then of course I work in communications, and Sabia met me, and I was like, yes, definitely, I would finally like to do something like this.
Spotlight's on me. So what happened? So I found out about this from the episode meeting on the subcommittees, and I heard there was one for unpaid internships or unfair internships. And I saw the list, and there was like 2 people, and I was like, oh, this is weird, it's only 2 people. Not everyone has the support from their families, and it's really bringing social inequality higher because it's just kind of elitist, So it hit me home personally because I had done one before previously.
So my rent is around 425 euros, and I think that's quite a standard price in Brussels. That's obviously quite expensive. I am covered by a health insurance and workplace accident insurance, but this I did privately before I came, so this is not covered at all by the contract or by the commission. I've add to that transport costs, add to that food and the necessary social obligations, and you can quickly arrive at 800, 900 euros a month, and that would be subsistence level. So I think 1,000 euros a month would be like a proper amount to get. And I'm lucky enough to have parents who can afford to keep on providing me with this financial support. But again, many people don't have this luck, don't have this advantage, and this is where my complaint lies.
My father, he has to pay my rent and he also has to give me some money. And I don't like to be dependent of my father, and I have 2 older siblings, so he also has to spend a lot of money for them. And I kind of have a bad conscience about it.
Rent was about $360 a month. To live and eating, let's say 200, plus the bus traveling costs, so that's 49 euros. And then, you know, going out, having a bit of drink, networking, because like to find another job, you need to network. To network, you need to go out. If you go out, you need to spend money. So I would say on average about 800 euros a month, you know. But the good thing is, without being paid, I learned how to do a lot of things by myself. Like, you know, you count every penny, you know, 1 penny is like, okay, I was like in my head, I was like, with 10 cents, what can I do with 10 cents? I can do a lot of things with 10 cents. Like literally a lot of things. So, you know, and it's stressful. I think what was the worst part is stress. It's a lot of stress not to know, like, how I'm gonna pay my rent at the end of this month. What am I going to eat? Oh, okay, this year I can't go back home because to my family, which is like Belgium and France is not that far away, but I can't even afford to go back to my house because I'm not being paid and I need to save money.
The EEAS employs over 700 unpaid interns a year, resulting in hundreds of thousands of hours of unpaid labor. Despite the EU supposedly championing human rights and fair working conditions, this policy is elitist, exclusionary, and unacceptable.
The team is great in supporting me in my work, and they do everything in their power for me to have a good time and be integrated in the actual work that they're doing as well. But one small thing on this is that EPSO does not consider unpaid traineeships to be a valid work experience. And that, in my eyes, is absolutely ridiculous and needs to be changed as soon as possible. Because we do the same work as the paid trainees do, we work the same hours that they do, and there's absolutely no valid reason for us not to be, for what we're doing, not to be considered as a valid work experience. But the fact of the matter is that for most unpaid trainees who arrive at irregular times, they don't have this automatic access to all the same information. And it's very easy for them to feel excluded and to effectively be excluded. And I'm talking about personal experience. I do feel strongly that such provisions in the contracts that exclude unpaid trainees from participating in activities with the trainees, those are also unfounded. So in that sense, yes, I do think they're unfair.
In my office, there are some problems because we are 3 trainees and we don't have an office for ourselves, so we always have to work in the iTech. His assistants try to explain to us that they want to show more people some side of the parliament, and that's the reason why he has 3 interns. And if he would only have 1 intern, he would pay them for her.
For day, I mean, when you work within the European institution or in terms of when you work in national politics, there's no really set hours, I will say. So it can depend, you know, some days it's 8, some days it's 10. I mean, it really depends on the need and the work that is available. Because when you're an intern, you're never really part of the team. You know, you're never really integrated in the team. You can't never have a real professional development. It's difficult because like every 6 months you have to change, you have to adapt. Yes, I was well treated. I think I still have good relationship with my previous employers, all of them, even those who never paid me. So I think it shows that beyond this situation, I took out something. Well, maybe a month ago we had an exchange with DG Employment, and I mean the representative from DG Employment was a very nice woman, but she seems to be totally clueless of the fact that there's unpaid trainees within the commission. It's shameful. It's shameful for any institution, any international institution, including the UN. It is shameful for them to advocate for human rights all around the world, tell people and tell member states what to do and how to react, but they can't pay their own intern, they can't pay, and they make us being in the brink of poverty. I am giving myself 100% in my current job because this is what I like. I love what I'm doing, and every day is learning for me. So however, I'm not delusional, so I need to be prepared, and I need to use as much as I get. I need to network. This is Brussels. This is for the toughest. If you're not tough, you can't be in this city.
But what I like that we really try to be very active in all different fields. So on one side we had the conference, which was a big success. On the other side we had a video. Name of the video, Interns' Voices. And I was working on it together with Shayani and also with Judith from the Commission and with Francesco.
The conference was probably one of the biggest events and the biggest success, I think, from the subcommittee. Like, the point was opening a big debate, or starting a big debate within the parliament and further within the EU institutions about the topic, because we realized that many MEPs, many civil servants working in the parliament don't know that there are unpaid interns working for the institutions. So the point was having a big conference where we could bring first our own experiences, also bring the experience of other NGOs that are working on the issue, but also bringing the EU institutions to the debate and challenging that with other people, with other data.
Hi, my name's David Leo Haidt. I was an unpaid intern at the United Nations in Geneva. Not many leaders will publicly defend unpaid internships. They're almost undefendable. They're elitist, they're discriminatory, they're exclusionary. They need to come to an end. So I think it's really important, the role which movements like the EPSA subcommittee and other groups play, because they make sure that these leaders who might publicly say they disagree with unpaid internships, they make sure the leaders actually enact change, a change in policy. And we really hope to see all these others change, whether it's the UN, whether it's the European Union, they've got some institutions still not paying, whether it's the Council of Europe, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, I mean, the list goes on. These are organizations which should be standing up for our human rights. So we really need to see them change.
And this doesn't come from the teams that us unpaid trainees work with. And that's a problem because, we don't really have anyone we can raise this issue to. And we need to basically identify those people who are responsible for these measures and these provisions, and we need to talk to them, and they're not easily accessible to us. And this is also why I'm very eager to participate in this project, because this is a great way of doing that. Who knows, but the point here is that we get the discussion rolling, that the people start talking to each other, that these ideas start getting debated in the right places. And that's, I think, the best that we can hope for right now.
We need to change the way we do things. I believe we need to advertise more for having traineeship being part of the education system, so that will provide the experience and our youth ability to do entry-level jobs. And then the EU needs to step up. The EU needs to actually stop to have unpaid traineeship within the institutions, all of the institutions. It needs to stop, because we can't go on like this. How can you tell member state not to do it if you do it yourself? You know? And it's the same messages for all international organization, i.e. the UN. You can't pretend speaking on behalf of human rights but then not being able to pay your own people. When I know it's tax-free.
Like when you get a job, also not to forget what it is to be an intern, what it feels like to be an intern.
Where you come from,
No,
yeah.
it's really important, because only because you're not an intern anymore, it doesn't mean that this issue doesn't concern you.
Yeah, it's a matter of values and it's a structural problem.
Yeah, well, that's the main problem, I think, not only about fair internships, but in general, where today we just think individually and we forgot that we are part of the society, that we are part of the community. And if we want to succeed, if we want to progress, we don't only depend on ourselves, we depend on other people, depend on other people, depend on other people, depend on other people. And other people depend on us also.
I mean, we started a really, really good movement in the Euro bubble now.
Yeah.
But I think it is also part of our responsibility to carry it outside.
I'm more than happy to carry on your fight outside of the EU.
So, I'm just super excited that we're also working on this. It's great to be working with such amazing people on such a topic that really hits home for a lot of people, and I'm really excited to see what happens in the future.
As a member of the European Parliament, I am committed to paid internships that can provide a real quality experience.
I sincerely believe that they have to be paid.
I fully support that all internships in all European institutions have to be paid.
We call on all European institutions
to abolish unpaid internships.
Francesco from Italy, videomaker and musician based in Brussels. Let's give the same chances to skilled people from different social backgrounds.
Alyssa, USA, trainee at a public affairs consultancy. Unpaid labor is unfair. We need to make a change and start working together.
Lioba, Germany policy advisor. Unpaid internships are unfair simply because not everybody can afford to work for free.
Raphael, Austria, migration policy officer. Unpaid internships are elitist and have to come to an end.
Álvaro, Spain, job seeker. Let's stop reinforcing economic inequalities.
Sabiha, Bosnia and Herzegovina, trainee. Thanks to us dreamers, the world still exists. We have to abolish unpaid internships so we don't crush their dreams.
Elodie, France, unemployed. Let's stop unpaid internships. No money, no honey.
Shayuni, India, communications consultant. If you have the money to pay for conferences, flights, hotels, and 2 kinds of drinking water, you have the money to pay your interns. We need to stop unpaid internships.
like, you came all over here, you are valuable. And I think that's one message that if I were to say anything to any person that just graduated and was thinking of doing an unpaid traineeship, I know it's difficult to say no when you have no experience but you studied. The time you've spent studying, that's experience, that is knowledge, and knowledge is everything.
So who would you choose? Who would you choose? Well, some are slim 'cause they dance a lot. Dancing's nice, isn't it? And some can't seem to keep their legs still, but you know what to think of that, don't you? And some are funny and they make you smile, and smiling's nice, isn't it? And some are happy just to be outside, but they don't smile. They don't smile that often. So who would you choose? Would you choose? Some are beautiful and pale, but that doesn't seem to bother them. Like true aristocrats, they just don't seem to give a damn. I wouldn't worry about them, oh no. And some are sweet, you know, you can tell just by looking at them. It's funny though how that rarely seems to work for them. Not funny, ha 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 ha. So who would you choose? Who would you choose? Because it's time, you'll have to, because you need one. You need at least one. Of course, not all of us. That would be too much. You No, you'll have to draw the line somewhere, and there are simply too many of us. There are simply too many of us. There are simply too many